The feeder hose comes free and a mechanism pulls it out of the way. But a terrible stench rises out of the container, smelling like many things died in there long ago. The nutrient broth in this container has become contaminated. It should be disinfected before the container can be reused. The container heats up rapidly and foul-smelling smoke pours out of the small opening on the top.
This container must be refilled with nutrient broth before it is replaced for use.
Two feeder hoses roll out on wired mechanisms and insert into the container. From one flows a clear liquid nearly filling the container. The other hose just makes burping noises. The blocks fit through the opening, splashing as they plunge into the liquid. The container heats up slowly and the sound of bubbling echoes from inside. You stop and the container quickly cools.
I think that did it, Captain.
You take the metal keg. You settle the container back into the niche it was removed from. The feeder hose, looking shiny and clean, rides out on some mechanism and reattaches to the newly filled container. You hear gurgling and see the nutrient broth begin swirling through the liquid medium. The dying plants seem to perk up before your very eyes.
Captain, we have just been thoroughly and efficiently scanned.
Please identify yourself. You haven't been in to see me before, have you?
I'm Captain James T. Kirk, commanding the USS Enterprise. These others are my crew. Science Officer Spock, Lieutenant Uhura, and Dr. McCoy. Who are you?
We are the Fays. Did not your parents speak of me?
Captain, note that it identifies itself only erratically in the singular I, and a blend of voices typifies its communication.
Are you suggesting it is a hive mind, Mr. Spock? Or is the voice synthesizer simply programmed for a harmonic chord of voices?
Inconclusive. It may also be that an array of otherwise independent machines have been linked to provide the requisite computing power, although that is an antique and unsophisticated method of achieving this level of intelligence, at odds with the overall level of sophistication and evidence. I suggest we pay close attention to both its actions and its words.
Fays, why would our parents have spoken of you?
I am here to care for all of you, Kirk. It is easier for me to care for you when you are younger, but sometimes one's parents are forgetful. We understand. I will care for you now. You will feel better after you eat.
Great. A food-fixating, mothering computer.
It could in fact be very much that.
Fays, you're about to land on a planet inhabited by sentients in the middle of a settlement. If you are in control of this vessel, you must stop. You must not land there.
You will feel better after you eat, dear. Run along now. I'm very busy.
extremely complex mechanical construct, Captain. Readings indicate this is a functional AI, an artificial intelligence of considerable sophistication. It may not be in perfect condition, however. Certain power shunts may be repair solutions to malfunctioning subsets.
It sounds like you're saying there's scar tissue, where the machine healed old damage.
Precisely, Doctor. The person is typical of her race, but seems to be functioning below optimal levels.
This is not a life form, Captain, but it does register with biomagnetics and considerable electrical complexity. If this is not a functioning, artificially intelligent construct, I'll eat my hat. She's cataleptic, Jim. Completely submerged within her mind, completely withdrawn from external stimuli. If I were to put her arm up in the air, it would stay there until I moved it back down.
Psychological damage or something physical?
I can't be sure even with rather extensive tests, but from the tricorder readings I would say some psychological shock ruptured an inherently fragile cognitive structure. In ancient times they would have said she was skittish or prone to a nervous breakdown or weak-minded. There are a myriad of childhood developmental blind alleys that might restrict her adult pattern creation representation
Bone, stop. You're starting to sound like Spock.
You do not have to be insulting, Captain. Are you suggesting I attempt a Vulcan mind meld, Captain?
It does seem an appropriate effort in this circumstance.
It will take me a moment to prepare myself. Doctor, please monitor her life signs. The procedure does entail some risk.
Not only to her, but to you too. Am I right?
I assure you, Doctor, I will retain sufficient distance to avoid being dragged into something from which I cannot withdraw.
Go ahead now, Spock.
I am Puzzlewit. I am the one who reads it all. I do not understand. I try. I read it all. So many ideas. Always jumbled, though. Cannot make sense of. Puzzlewit wants to know. Hope to discover why why I cannot. I try to remember it all. Then Tuscan comes in. He destroys me. My hopes, all broken, all shattered. Ow. I'm broken in countless pieces.
Doctor?
No physical injuries, Captain. Not to him or to her.
Tuscan's scared of me. Scared. For no reason. He thinks I know. I know, but I don't know. I don't understand. Nothing connects to anything else. I want to know it all. Hope then I'll understand. He thinks I'll hurt him. I don't hurt anybody. I just want to know more. Now I only know what I know. Never know what Puzzlewit doesn't know anymore.
What's going on here, Kirk?
We are trying to help this woman, Captain Clark. Be quiet, or you'll put her and my science officer both at considerable risk.
He's trying to make a mental slave of the alien, Captain.
She could tell him the secrets of this ship, of its transit through the Klingon Empire. Stop him!
We'll listen in a moment. I wouldn't have a representative of the Federation damaged or rendering assistance.
Puzzlewit remembers. Everything she reads. Subject. Screen laminates. Reflective. Subject to autotrophic bonding with molybdenized nitrous oxides in the presence of cyanodephosphortrihydrous gases. Subject. Wiring systems. Auxiliary to cryptolog.
Does Puzzlewit remember this ship passing through Klingon space, perhaps?
All the paralenses were copied prior to liftoff. No new encryption was permitted. We could only read, not write to them.
That's stellar ejector, Captain. Why would a computer terminal permit read-only interface, I ask you?
The builders didn't trust us. Didn't think we would be capable. We were damaged. Now, the reader is damaged. It's broken like Puzzlewit. Like us all. Like Tusken. The paralens can't be replaced. The reader can't be fixed. Puzzlewit can't be fixed. Nothing to read now. Nothing new to learn, to remember. Stupid. Like Tusken now.
This whole thing is stupid, if you ask me.
Anything but stupid, in fact. Captain Kirk, the library this woman read has been recorded entirely in her mind, although she lacks the ability to understand it or even to recall it in an orderly manner. She believed if she could fill up her mind, acquire enough knowledge, understanding would come. Now her personality is withdrawing, refusing to accept the loss of everything she has not yet been able to read. She pinned all her hopes on this, and without it, she may lose the will to live.
Do you know everything she knows now?
No, Captain Clark, I do not. This race has very unusual mind patterns, and I am fortunate she was in as passive a state as she is mentally. It is very likely I would have been hurt were she less withdrawn to begin with. Moreover, the knowledge she does possess is a very peculiar admixture, reflecting this society's uneven level of advancement. Archaisms and startling breakthroughs coexist.
So there is much to be learned from this woman, and from this ship.
Knowledge the Federation would gladly share with friends, Captain Clark.
Let nothing happen to this alien woman, Captain. If she should die, I would take it as an indication that you would sooner let her perish than share her special knowledge with the Klingon Empire.
Captain Clark, if I took her aboard the Enterprise, I might be able to help her.
I would have expected such treachery from the likes of you. You'll start an interstellar incident like this.
I thought some of the folks on board this ship were paranoids.
Gentlemen, Captain Clark, we don't want this woman to die any more than you do. Not because we want to milk her brain dry, but because she's an important being in her own right. Just as important to the universe as, well, as your companion here. Maybe more so. Dr. McCoy will do what he can. That's all that can be expected.
That's all I would expect. Goodbye for now, Captain. Expect to see us again.